Okay, we have a special video for Christmas. This time it is going to be on, well, the update for the Fated One of Time and Liael Amorta, and the final Destined one, the Destined one for Dark States. This is the Destined One of Time, Liael-Orium. They're both the same character, so I kind of figured, why not cover them in the same video? So yeah, we'll go over Liael Amorta's update first. Of course, we've got the rad line for Liael Amorta, player of the Oliphant Bellanista. It's the basic starter for Overdress / Divines. Player of the Lovely Harp Adrophis. Its effect is when this unit is rode upon by player of the Beautiful Chord Elgina, you Soul Blast 1, draw 2 cards, choose up to 1 normal unit from your hand, discard it, and if you do not discard a normal unit, you choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them. That usually works out. Of course, there are the rare times where you mess up horribly, but that's not all that often. The grade 2. When this unit is rode upon by a grade 3 with Liael in its card name, choose any number of normal units from your drop, put them on the bottom of the deck in any order. And if you chose 3 or more cards with that effect, you draw a card. Very nice. It returns stuff to your deck and draws you a card. Of course, the Fated One of Time, Liael Amorta herself. When this unit attacks, you can counterblast 1. Choose one of your rearguards, bind it, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as that card, call it to a rearguard circle, and then shuffle the deck. That is time leaping for all the older Vanguard players. So, and that was something that Gear Chronicle used to do, but now it's something that Liael can do as a member of technically both Gear Chronicle and Angel Feather. And then its other effect is when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, you can discard a card from hand, put 2 cards from the bind zone on the bottom of your deck in any order, choose one of your units with the Fated One in its card name, and it cannot be hit until the end of that battle, and then the Divine Skill turn at the end of the battle that this unit attacked. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose a card with the same name as this unit from your drop. You may ride it as stand. If you rode that unit, then gets drive -1 until the end of turn. So yeah, it's a restander as well. So yeah, it's pretty good. Of course, we've got 3 more copies of Liael. Of course, again, you can also use these as perfect guards in situations where that might be needed. We also have the Grail as well. You're kind of using the Liael Amortas kind of randomly here. So this gives you another chance to Persona Ride with its effect. Play this if you have a grade 3 Vanguard with the Persona Ride icon and you did not ride this turn, you activate Persona Ride. Nice and simple, and of course, since it's a Regalius piece, you can only have 1 copy of it. 4 copies of this new card for Liael Amorta and for Rezael. This is Blessed Dragon Gabuelius. Its first effect is when it's placed on rearguard, Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of your deck, and put it on the top or bottom of the deck. If you put it on the bottom, this gets an extra 5,000 power. And its other effect is when this unit attacks, if your damage zone has 5 or more cards, that is a limit break. Until the end of that battle, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power. If this unit was placed on a rearguard by the ability of your Vanguard with Fated One in its card name, and no drive checks were performed for the battle your rearguard attacked this turn, you can counterblast 1. This unit gets 10,000 instead, and drive -1, and then it can perform drive checks. That's very nice. Gets you an extra drive check, and it's just a very good rearguard in general. Of course, we've got the main grade 2 of the deck. That is Sword Saint of Eternate Idris. During your turn, if your bind zone has a card with the same name as this unit gets an extra 10,000 power. And when this unit is boosted from rearguard during your... when this unit is bound from rearguard during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, you Soul Blast 1, draw a card, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets an extra 5,000 power until the end of turn. Very good. We have one of Liael Amorta's newer cards. This is Sequence Wizard. When this unit is placed on the rearguard during your main phase, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, counterblast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to one grade 3 or less unit card from among them, call it to a rearguard circle, and then shuffle the deck. And then when your other unit is bound by your Vanguard's ability, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power, and then you may soul charge 1 as well. Liael kind of had a bit of soul problems, so that really helps a lot. We got another one of the new cards. This is Knight of Piercing Skies Pernautica? Yeah. During your turn, if your bind zone has a card with the same card name as this unit gets an extra 5,000 power. And when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name is placed, you can Energy Blast 3, bind this unit, and draw a card. You're probably only going to be using that once per game, as that effect only relates to Liael's Divine Skill. Sometimes you might not even use it at all, so who knows. But it's still a card to use. Of course, 2 copies of Heavenly Bright. This is to help. It's a blitz order, so you, well, first play it on your opponent's turn, and then you play it with Energy Blast 2. Look at the top card of your deck, call it to a Guardian Circle, or put it on the top of the deck. If you called a card, that called unit gets an extra 10,000 power until the end of that battle. You, of course, can call a trigger unit. You can even call a PG. You can really call anything, and it adds 10,000 to that thing's shield. But calling PGs or a Liael Amorta off the top is usually the best, as you can activate your PG's guard effects and your Liael Amorta's guard effects. So that is it for the grade 2s. We've got Swordsman of Twin Stance Ishtir, I think. Yeah, back row rearguard. When your rearguard in the same column as this unit is bound by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, you stand this unit. So it is a restanding booster, which is nice to see that they're doing a lot more of. Of course, we've got the counter charger for the deck. This is Gragon. Yeah, it's a little dog thing. If your unit was placed by the ability of your Vanguard with a Divine Skill this turn, this unit gets, at the end of the battle that this unit boosted, retire this unit and counter charge 1 and an extra 5,000 power. Very nice. Of course, you can also use that in Alden, but Alden has his own counter charger. 4 PGs. Of course, you drop one of them for Elementaria Sanctitude if you've got that. If you don't, the 4 PGs are just fine on their own. Yeah. 7 crits. Again, use any of the arts that you want, and the effect ones if you want. Four of the effect fronts. They're pretty good. You don't really need draws in this deck. You draw enough from your own effects. And you also go through the deck because of Liael's effect. So draws might not help, as you might deck yourself out. And the fronts provide more power and more defense. Of course, also 4 heals. And again, I unfortunately don't have a better over trigger for Keter Sanctuary, so we're just gonna go with the basic Keter Sanctuary over trigger for now. If you've got any of the other generic ones, you of course can use those. And that is it for Liael Amorta. We will now go on to Liael-Orium. So unlike Liael Amorta, who is Keter Sanctuary and focuses more on the Angel Feather aesthetic, this is Liael-Orium from Dark States, who focuses more on the Gear Chronicle side. So yeah, we can kind of already see there is a vast difference in their appearance. I think the lore is this one was the one resurrected, and well, both of them were kind of resurrected. One's from an alternate timeline. This one's the one from the proper timeline. I don't know, it's kind of weird, and I think the anime did stuff differently. But yeah, this is the, I believe, yeah, this is the current Liael, or it was the past Liael, but also the current one. I don't know, it's time travel stuff. getting all confused here. Let's just start. Of course, we've got the starter for this Liael. This is Gear Quetzal of Sweeping Distance. And basic starter for Divines. We have the grade 1, Steam. Oh. Come on. There we go. Steam Maiden Tiglat, I think. Yeah. When this unit is placed by riding from a grade 0, reveal a grade 3 card with Liael in its card name from the ride deck, and put a Destined timepiece token in your order zone. Okay, I guess we're going to have to go over the Destined timepiece. This is it. Besides having an order zone effect, you cannot ride grade 3 cards without Liael in its card name, and you can have regress gauges. Regress gauges are kind of just like the gauge system from Impaldio, except these ones do something different. We'll see what the gauge system here does a bit later. We've got Life Secession Colossus. Its effect is when this unit is placed by riding from the grade 1, put a card from your hand face up as a regress gauge and draw 2 cards. Very good effect. So again, kind of the same idea as Impaldio. You put cards into your regress gauge to get an effect. And then Destined One of Time, Liael-Orium. During your turn, all of your front row rear guards get an extra 5,000 power for each of your Destined timepieces, or for each of your Distorted Banes in the regress gauge. There's something else we're going to have to go over. This is the main order for the deck, Distorted Bane. So, yep, it is a grade 3 order, which effects are: play this if your Vanguard is Liael, and you may soul charge 1 and put this card face up as your regress gauge. When this card is put as your regress gauge, you draw a card and you choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets an extra 10,000 power for the turn. So yeah, this is a very important card to have. You obviously got to have 4 of it. And each of your Distorted Banes in the regress gauge are power up your rear guards with Liael-Orium's first effect. When this unit attacks, you Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your rear guard or hand, put it face up as a regress gauge. If you put a card, this unit gets triple drive until the end of that battle. So essentially, she becomes a G unit from the original series, with the extra 10,000 from that and the triple drive from her own effect. She essentially becomes a grade 4, kind of. And her Divine skill, at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if you have 5 or more regress gauges, so this is what you're aiming for, you discard 2 cards from your hand, and then you get an additional turn. Yeah, that's the effect. You get an additional turn. During that additional turn, though, this unit gets drive -1, and you skip the ride and main phase of that additional turn. However, if you remember its second effect, it gets triple drive, which negates the drive -1 and sets it to 2, which is hilarious. Of course, we've got 3 more copies of Liael-Orium in the main deck. We have this grade 3, which is a great one. This is Anachronos Dragon. This is your main rear guard. In the gauge zone, it has the effect at the beginning of your battle phase. If this card is in your regress gauge, Counterblast 1. Sorry, just had Christmas dinner. Choose a card from your drop, put it face up as a regress gauge, and if you put a card, call this card to a rear guard circle, so you can get it back if you put it in the regress gauge. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, until the end of that battle, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power. And if you have 3 or more regress gauges, Energy Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Very strong. So now that we went over those, we've got some of the grade 2s. This is Almanatic Colossus. When this unit is placed on a rearguard circle, if you have a regress gauge, you can Cab Blast 1, draw a card, and Soul Charge 1. Very nice, gets you some resources, and you have 3 more regress gauges. This unit gets boost, so it can also be a booster, even though it's a grade 2. Very good. Next up, we have Steam Burner Omniditana. When this card is placed on rearguard during your turn, or put as a regress gauge, choose one of your units, and that unit gets an extra 5,000 power until the end of turn. Very simple effect. Onto the grade 1s, we've got Ablaze Chimera. When this unit is placed on a rearguard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, you Cab Blast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 grade 3 or less card from one of them, call it to a rearguard circle. You're probably going to be choosing the dragon or anything else that you might need. We've got this card. This is a card that can help you search for Distorted Bane. Of course, there's another one, which was a grade 2 Order Searcher. I, however, don't have that one. However, I got this one with my Blagdemire playset, so I'm using the one I've got, and a lot of people use this one and the other one together. When this unit is placed on a rearguard circle from hand, if you did not play any orders this turn, you can discard a card from hand, search your deck for up to 1 order without Regalis Piece, discard it, and then it gets the effect. This card can be played from your drop, and when it would be put into drop after being played, you put it on the bottom of the deck instead. However, Distorted Bane skips that last bit of the effect as it goes immediately into the regress gauge, which is pretty cool. And until the end of turn, it gets that effect until the end of turn, and then you shuffle the deck. Very simple. It's a way to search out your Distorted Banes. Simple and easy. Last card is Steam Battler Gungan Ram. This is a card all the way from set 1. Don't mind the Persona icon, that's not supposed to be there. This is back when this card was misprinted. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you Soul Charge 1, and then you can Soul Blast 3 and draw a card. Very simple card. And it gets you, again, more cards in hand. For PGs, of course, you drop 1 for Elementaria if you have it. And again, you can choose any of the Dark State PGs that you want that are from the main sets. 8 crits. Again, go for any of the ones that you want, including the effect ones. My effect ones are just in Blagdemire right now. So again, choose any of the arts that you want. For the heals, again, go with whatever ones you want. And 3 of the effect draws. You can also run 4 if you want. No fronts in this build as you want to see your pieces. So yeah, that's pretty important. And then, of course, lastly, the Dark States over trigger. And you're probably going to see it in this deck. As in testing, I've seen it a lot because Ordium triple drives all the time, basically. So, yeah, that is the 2 Liael decks and the Christmas special for the year done. I hope you enjoyed this video.